Welcome, everybody, to this beautiful workshop seminar all about spiritual tools, shamanic tools, which I always find fascinating and I love doing. Seminars are really important for people to grasp certain techniques, certain tools that we use for the reasons why I'll explain tonight. And I always enjoy this through the Pure Energy Healing course, 4-day course. This is normally on day one that we share these tools and the wonderful things that I've learned over the years that have helped people. Obviously, over the years, I've tried many different tools and techniques. Some had amazing effects and some not so much for me. So I followed that. I followed what was successful. I call them hits. So basically, I'm going to share all the hits, all the tools, and all the techniques I adapted and used and utilized over 12 solid years of working with clients. So I hope if you're new to this and you've never been here before, my name is Bajerski. I'm the founder of the Pure Energy Healing Academy, and worldwide we have thousands of pure energy healing practitioners working all over the world, whether it's at home or some in hospitals. They're all over the place now, sharing valuable healing with people that need it. And there's never been a more important time to share healing. Without exaggeration, 5, 10, 15, 20 messages constantly every day, sometimes more, of people getting sick. And I mean really sick. Cancer, all sorts of awful things are happening to people right now. Even people that haven't done what we didn't do. So we have to really take care of our body. What I've learned in my life at 38 years old up to this moment is the truth about health is more than just what we eat, more than what we don't intake and what we do intake, whether it's liquids or non-foods, whether it's drugs, chemicals. There's so much more to it. And what I saw was a connection between people getting sick and their personal life and their past and their present and even the thoughts of their future. So there's something in a healthy mind, a healthy body. Very difficult to prove, but I think it's certainly one thing that we can look at. Energetically speaking, energy-wise, it's vital that we cleanse and clear the space around us. I think that's really important. Most people don't even consider that at all. It's just a joke to most people. They laugh and say, well, I'm fine. I've never cleansed or cleared anything. And yeah, I say, yeah, you're right. You might be. But what happens when you come to me and say, hey, guess what? I'm really sick. I'm like, well, might have had something to do with that. You didn't look after your body. So you didn't take care of your temple. And eventually it'll catch up on you, and it can take years to get back to where you're meant to be. Of course, people want to be healthy within 7 days. Give me the tablets, and as long as I'm okay in 7 days after taking the tablets. Well, it doesn't work like that. It can take years to heal. It took years for your body to break down to eventually scream out and say there's something wrong. Doesn't fix that quick. It takes time. So there is this understanding that it's far better to look after your body all the time than to run to somebody when you are sick. So yeah, the prevention theory. It's far better than a cure, eh? So How are you all doing tonight? Are you all okay? Hope you enjoyed last night's angel card reading for a few of you. I don't know how many I read for, a good few. And the night before, and I hope you're going to enjoy tonight as well. We may diverse and break off into a different direction, but let's go with the flow. Tonight I'm wearing something very beautiful, dioptase, gorgeous. This is a beautiful energy. So yeah, it gives me a lot of strength when I wear this crystal. So let's start then, shall we? First of all, if you've seen my top video that got me quite a lot of followers, that's about lemons. So it's important we start with the energy in the room and the energy around you. Sometimes it's really hard to see the energy in the room and the energy around you because you're too busy with your life. Too much is going on, watching TV, very distracted, maybe not feeling too good, but it's very difficult to put it down to anything because the last thing you're going to think about is the energy within you and around you. So I often share this truth whereby a lemon has the ability to absorb negative energy in a room if the energy is bad in that room. By way of little black dots, or it turns kind of fuzzy green, where you can clearly see that lemon is off. I use that as a barometer, thermometer, to tell me that I need to cleanse the room. I also have, I've got tons here, I might as well show you, but there you go. These are lemons that have gone off nicely and turned into how they should do, a dried lemon. So I've got loads of baskets lying around of them, but by putting a lemon by your bedside table or underneath your bed, or I used to say to people, put it underneath your pillow, but that wasn't a good idea because if they were in a bad space and their energy was bad, then the following morning there would be this green toxic dust on the pillow, and it's very hard to wash out. So I would put the fresh lemon underneath the bed. People have asked me, can you use lemons? I've never used a lemon, so I don't know. But some people can't get lemons. There's nothing I can do about that. All I can tell you is that the lemons that I use work very well. The lemons that I have are from a tree below here. We have 3 trees, lemon trees. So it's easy for me to get lemons in Spain, of course, free from GMO and spraying, chemical spraying. So if you're buying a lemon and it's got a peel belonging to Gates from Hell, then I don't think you're going to probably get the same effect, because I'm not so sure. You might do, I don't know. But if it's coated in a kind of plastic or wax, wherever that poison is, then the atmosphere in the room, which is negative energy, I don't know, may not penetrate through. So all I can tell you is that if you ask me about lemons, you need to get organic lemons free from any poison or any man-made substances that they've been put onto it. So by keeping a lemon in the room like here, I walk past them and just check them most days. If the lemons are fine, then I've no need to really cleanse the room at all. If I see them getting a little bit off, then I'll cleanse the room. So a wonderful thing to do when you're cleansing the room. Oh, and by the way, when the lemon's off, you throw it in the bin or you bury it in Mother Earth. Yeah, so to begin with, if your room is of negative energy, there's only one really powerful, in my humble opinion, cleansing technique, and that's sage. So if you watch my lemon video, which is the first most popular video, the second video is of how to cleanse your room. So I'll direct you over to that after this video. You can watch them and see exactly how to cleanse the room. But suffice to say, saging is often used by many healers and practitioners and shamanic seers and shamans and so on. But what I found was when I was using the technique with a stick, it didn't work. So I just felt that, well, why am I doing it? And I realized that, well, I'm cleansing the room. And what is it about sage that cleanses the room? And well, it's the smoke. Well, maybe there's not enough smoke, Mark. So what I did was I got three sticks together and burnt them, and it was a little bit better. But what I realized is that I was being told to break it up and put it into some kind of jar. So I got a wooden bowl and broke it up and then started blowing. So there was more and more smoke. And I was getting a lot of hits. In fact, I never didn't get a hit after the fact that I would, whenever I remember cleansing a Chinese restaurant down in Belmadina, and it was awful. There were, it set on fire in the kitchen area. It was so bad. And when I'd finished, the sales went up. Like they were asking me to go back every few months, because every time I went back, the sales went up, and that was very normal. Why? Because people are drawn into good places, good energy. So if you have a shop, if you have a home, if you go, it's good to cleanse the house. It's good to cleanse it, because you're going to get kinder, loving, more loving people coming. And by way of cleansing, you also invite good energy, and bad energy, it's harder for bad energy to come in. If you believe in ghosts, or I call them spirit trapped in between two worlds, if you believe in attachments, demonic energy, I wholeheartedly believe that it's very hard for them to come into a space of good, clean energy. And I'm talking high frequency energy. So sage has the power to do that. So I don't want to go into detail about sage, because you can just go straight to Mark Bajerski, click favorites or most watched, and it's number 2. So you'll get all the information from that. Okay. So once you've cleansed the room, it's now of great frequency. So bear in mind that your thoughts and people who are in that room, and people who may be strangers or family, or if they're coming in with any bad energy, then what you're going to find is eventually, slowly but surely, that room will change from positive to negative energy. If you're thinking bad thoughts, if you're watching horror movies, if you're watching anything negative, then you create bad energy. So be aware of that. That's important. So once you've done that, to keep the energy right, there's 2 things you do. One is to clean your energy on a daily basis. 2, to keep the room in good energy. So I created some sticks, and the 2 sets of sticks. One set of sticks is for working on yourself when you're doing high work, high energy work, connection to the spirit world. And another set, very similar to this box, which is cleansing. So to cleanse yourself on a daily basis for 3 minutes isn't such a big deal, really, for 3 minutes, but you'll be surprised how your life changes. And it does. And it makes a massive difference in your daily life. So by cleansing yourself in the morning, better in the morning, and then if your day's been great, then you don't need to worry about the night. If you've been in bad company, or you've been, say, shopping in a big supermarket, or I don't know, these big stores, sometimes you pick up a lot of negative energy. So you give yourself 3 minutes when you come home. Just like I kind of say, when students used to come here in the morning, they'd walk through the door, and before they walk through the door, they'd have a cleanse. So we'd get the sticks out, and somebody would go up and down them and cleanse them, all their body, and then they'd come in nice and cleansed. So it's a good energy. So this is what we do when we do event nights everybody got a cleanse. And if you ever watch shamans doing their work, they do the same thing. Somebody watches over them and cleanses them before and after. And then, so if you can do that, it's gonna be amazing. I'll explain why, right? If you're carrying negative energy, that negative energy can enter into your physical body and start to cause a breakdown in any part of your body, depending on what that energy is. And normally, the worst place, or let's say the weakest place in your body that suffered, normally that energy somehow gets attracted to there. So you kind of make things worse in your body when you're in the energy of negative energy. So we have these sticks as well. There's three types of sticks we have. We have sage, frankincense, and Palo Santo. And those three sticks, people ask me, how do you use them? And I say, well, you can buy one of each stick. And what I would suggest is once a week, use just a tune which feels right. But if people say, oh, I don't know how to attune, then just set put your attention to 1 week, let's say Palo Santo, the following week, frankincense stick, and then the following week, sage stick. And, if you're buying, I think there's 6 or 7 in here. So that every one is 7 days. So you've got 3 weeks, which is pretty cool. And sometimes you can have a break and just give it a break, So it's something that you can think about. So I do this on a daily basis. It's a routine that I do because I work with people who are in bad spaces. So I will meditate and cleanse and clear myself. So by using 1 stick a day, it just keeps the energy perfect in a room. So that's something you can think about. So they're absolutely 3 powerful tools, shamanic tools that you can use. These that we sell are made by hand, not by children and slave labor. They're made in Barcelona, and they're made with love, and a beautiful soul makes these for us. These are made in Peru by a family who you have to walk. I think it's a few days to get to the village where they crush them, and they work with them by hand and create these beautiful sticks. And yeah, just amazing. So that's like those 3 things. If you just do them 3 things, it'll change your life. It will change your life. Most people forget though, so they might start and then they forget. I do it as a daily routine. So the other thing that I use as a tool is this beautiful spray called Sacred Spray. It's only sold at Lemon House. I've made videos of it before, but it's basically high frequency water from all over the world. So every time somebody goes somewhere very special, wherever it may be, they bring me a bottle back of water. And I've been adding to this water for years. And it only runs down to half, and then I refill it back up again with different waters from wherever they are, from the beginning of the Ganges to certain parts of mountains, in hilltops and really deep in mountains where water actually, for some reason, goes up the mountain and stays in one position. Phenomenal places I've been to everywhere. Slovenia, Serbia, Croatia. Look, I can like reel off so many. So by doing that, it's high level energy water. So what I do with that is I always fill it up, refill it. So if it goes down halfway, I refill it back up, and I just spray it over me. There's no smell to it, and it's natural, and it's blessed water basically. I've written about this blessed water before, about how it's helped me. And it's funny because when we look at anything to do with TV and the exorcism, they use holy water on demonic energies and entities, and it burns them, and there is some truth in it. There really is some truth in it, and I know that because I was like, nobody was more surprised than me when I used this water, which was the original water from Cecilia, who brought it from Fatima, which is in, I think, Portugal, I think. So that was blessed water, and I used that over a client who had an attachment, a demonic attachment, which I was cleansing. Took a few hours, but the water helped, and yeah, it was phenomenal. So there is truth. There's always half truths in these Hollywood films, but most of it's exaggerated. But there is some truth in that. So there is something else again, another tool that I like to use, and that's this. Some people don't like it, right? I got like Layla, who's one of the pure energy healing teachers at the academy, doesn't use this because it's alcohol and she doesn't like even to smell it in her nose. But I like it, and for some reason it kind of does something inside me, and it's strong. I breathe it in through my nose 3 times. It makes me cough, but it really kind of clears everything and centers me. And I love using it as well when I'm doing rituals of blessing rituals, cleansing rituals, and very heavy, let's say, trying to detach any kind of negativity that's attached inside you, which is hard to get rid of. I use this often, and it's fantastic. I'll use it over people as well, but mainly I'll make them breathe it in. So if I'm doing a ritual and somebody comes and sits in the middle, I'll take it and then put it up to their nose and make them breathe till they're coughing. And I can see clearly that there's something happening on a level that is very difficult to explain, but something's loosening. That's the word I used to use. So it's not rigid. The negative energy is not rigid. So it's loose. So it gives me an opportunity then to cleanse and clear it from behind. Most of the most powerful dark cleansings that I ever did was from behind. And I would basically throw the client, push them down as hard as I could to shock them a little bit, and then put my hands on the back of their lower back, and then start to do the healing work and maybe a prayer. And if you've ever been part of those blessing nights, ritual nights, you'll know there's been some really heavy work being done, but it changes lives and it's fantastic. So yeah, can't be explained, but when you've seen the difference between a client before and after, all you can do is say, well, something positive happened because they're a different person now. So I think that's a great tool. Another tool is oils, and the smell of oils are important because the smell of oils are equally as powerful. The smell of anything is equally as powerful. I'm just going to show you something that I show people in a... Give me a second. So, you know how things just happen and you think, wow, why did that happen? I used to give healing sessions all over the world, and people used to come to me, and it was funny because at the time we were in Tickle Pink, and there was a kind of where the horses and cars used to drive around in the square, but that's gone now. But there used to be limousines, white limousines with flags on, and they used to park 3 of them, and a woman would get out, come for a healing session, and then she would make a phone call, and they'd come back again, and then she'd get back in the car, and she was royalty. And I'd worked for a lot of royal families, and this particular time she gave me this. I've kept it ever since. So it's got a royal stamp underneath, so it was her own perfume, and it goes like that. So, and anyway, she said, I just wanted to gift it you. I don't know why. And I didn't know why. And I said, well, just do what you want with it. I never thought about giving it to my wife back then, because I just thought it was something special that she wanted me to have. So I just kept it. I just left it there. And then one day, I was working on this lovely lady who was probably one of the nicest ladies I've ever met. She was just so lovely. I started the healing work on her, and I knew there was something deeply wrong. I didn't know what it was. She was lovely on the surface, but I could feel a huge pain inside. So I was doing the healing, right? This was maybe about a week after. For some strange reason, I turned as I'm doing the healing, and I turned and I sees this bottle on the shelf, and I'm looking, I'm fixated on the bottle, and me being me, I just continued, but I kept looking at the bottle. No reason why, until somebody like in spirit was saying, hello, we're trying to tell you something. And then I thought, oh, my client had fallen asleep, as often my clients did when I was working on them on a healing basis. I went over, tiptoed over gently, and I took the bottle and I opened it, just following orders. And I went like this, underneath her nose, like that. As soon as oh gosh, I can still smell it. By the way, I knocked it over about 5 or 6 weeks later, and it all poured out. It all just because it was only needed for one person. And soon as I put it underneath her nose, the strangest thing happened. She just kind of shook, and I started getting a bit worried because she was shaking. And then all of a sudden she just burst into tears, and it flooded her eyes. I remember like, okay, everything's fine. And I'm getting tissues, and because she's head's back, the tear ducts it was all filling up with what, so I'm cleaning the water, and she's sobbing and screaming. And all of a sudden she'd go down to a very still sob, and then all of a sudden it had kicked back up again, and I'd like get frightened inside because it was really loud, and then it went down again. And this lasted about 35-40 minutes, and then it stopped. So I continued doing the healing. When we finished, she got up and she apologized, and I said, you've got nothing to apologize. This is very normal, which it wasn't normal, but people did cry. But this was a big cry. This was a release that I just couldn't explain. But she said, I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden I got this feeling and this smell that brought back something that happened. And it was so painful, that moment, what happened to her, that it released. But she said the strange thing was when she said she could smell something, and the smell was vivid to what happened. So something happened to her, which she's still here and she's still around. So I don't want to say too much because I don't want people to know who it is. But what she was trying to explain to me is that everything made sense, which she never thought about before, and she couldn't think about it and she couldn't understand it. So something had happened because of the smell that activated a memory that now everything made sense, and she was able to release and heal. I don't ask questions unless they want to talk to me. So I just thought that was fascinating. And then I realized that the power of smell is brilliant. So the power of smell, the power of smell. So all my oils have a different smell. So if you're a pure energy healer, sometimes you can go to a bottle from one client lying down, and then you'll go to another bottle and you don't know why. But when you ask the client to rub it in their hands, because that's what we normally do, could I put a little bit of oil on your hands? Could you rub your hands together? Could you breathe through your nose and blow out through your mouth 10 times before we start the healing session? Then put your hands down and then just relax, and then we'll begin the healing session. We don't say relax. I just say it sometimes, think, don't say it, because relax is like, well, I'm here to try and relax, but I don't know how to relax. Like, okay, so that's it. Activating certain feelings that can heal is quite a powerful thing. Of course, oils have two different mechanisms of healing, and that is the penetration of whatever the flower is, whatever you're using, that penetrates the body and then starts the healing process. So it's a double whammy. But I thought it was really interesting, the smell, the perfume, and it was natural perfume, 100% organic natural perfume. That's what she told me, which, yeah, kind of makes sense. So these are kind of wonderful things that you use. I'd like to talk about something now which I think is really works hand in hand as a spiritual tool, and that is sound. And we don't use it enough, but we know that for hundreds of years, many fascinating people have been trying to get the frequency of love through sound. And more and more and more people are now talking about the frequencies that match up to the physical body. So if you can hit the frequency of a healthy heart, then you use that frequency, you can heal the heart. If you can find the frequency to break or to melt or to, dilute a problem issue in the body, whether it's cancer or whatever it may be. You might have, a bad something, your eyes are in a bad place. If you can find the frequency that vibrates, that clears that away, we're finding that sound is really powerful. So I use sound therapy from something as simple as this bell has been with me for 30 or 20 odd years. Okay. It comes with me everywhere I go. It's to shake the room whenever I'm doing rituals, or if I'm doing a cleansing in a house, or if I'm clearing out negative energy or spirit trapped or whatever you think it might be, demonic, heavy energy. There's something about sound that has an effect on trapped spirit, or whatever you want to call them, ghosts or entities. They don't like it. They don't like it. It affects them and it shakes them up. Something that else which I find fascinating is the drum. And the drum, as shamans use them, is fantastic. It does shake the energy, and it actually awakens the third eye and the crown, and really, really does activate. So there's something very special about the drum. And then you can get sound frequencies that work with crystals. And depending on what crystal, they'll use crystal dust and mix it in and then fire it again to create certain bowls. So the bowl that I chose was the bowl which was MOLDAVITE. And MOLDAVITE is my favorite crystal. So I had to get a MOLDAVITE crystal bowl. So phenomenal. Phenomenal. The energy is phenomenal, and you can hear it going up and down. It's such an incredible frequency. Incredible frequency. You have to be in the room to really experience it to its full effect. But let me tell you, that is a very powerful frequency. And then you go on to other frequencies, and And I fell in love with this one because I can't explain why, because a lot of people say you got it because it was created by somebody in NASA or something like that. No, it's just a beautiful sound. Beautiful, eh? So yeah, that I just think the sound is incredible. It can heal, bring forward many emotions. It can release. It can do so many things. So sound, for me, is very important, and I like to use frequency of as many tools as possible. So when we start looking at the sound, we get the metal, of course, and then we get the crystal. So the crystal has a great frequency, and you realize that there's something in the frequency of crystals. So you start to work with crystals, and you realize, wow, crystals have an energy that you don't have to play, you just need to put on you. And then you realize that it's the same thing. It's just because you can't hear it because you're tapping that frequency, it doesn't mean it isn't working, because it is. It's working on you. It doesn't have to play the sound, but the frequency that's given off, which crystals give off frequency all the time. One day science will catch up to it, but it's true. Crystals are alive. Just like I'm holding this crystal, it's alive. It's a real live crystal. That is a living crystal. And you can feel it. All my hair, everything there just stood up on end just then. I could feel it just by touching it. And imagine if you just hold it like that and put your hand on it, you can feel all these pointers, and my hand's like setting on fire as soon as I touch it. So you realize there is some kind of frequency in healing in crystal, and even the crystals from out of this world, which are tektites, have phenomenal energy. Where they came from, we don't know, but there is some amazing energy if you just take your time and try and find out what that frequency is. So you can go from, a simple, beautiful flat piece, or you could get a little sphere, a beautiful blue calcite sphere, and put it in your hand and hold it, put it in your pocket like I did when I first started, and just whatever crystal you like. Oh, look, a nice piece of labradorite. Yeah, lovely piece. I'm just going to work with that. Or, a lovely piece of smoky quartz. You just go to a crystal shop and feel a crystal and what feels right. Just go with that. A crystal like this emits energy from all of its blades, all of its points. So you've got literally, I don't know, there might be 400-500 blades there. So it's like blades of light hitting you. So whenever you've got a pointer, at the end of that pointer, there's energy coming off it. So, just imagine just holding that, or putting it on your heart, or putting it in your room and just leaving it there. Crystals are a great effect. And then you can have pointers as well. And pointers are beautiful. You can work with pointers. So you can work with pointers like that on your power points, your chakras, on a place what you're in pain. If you've got a family member who's in pain, or they've got something somewhere, like my daughter had a red mark here, like my brother has, and I used the pointer there, and it was gone within a couple of weeks. It was incredible. And then I started becoming more and more confident and started using clear quartz pointers on people with skin cancer and moles, and that normally they have to go and have procedures done in, and then they'd come to me and then they wouldn't have to. So there was something in it. And then you can go to bigger pointers, you can have really big pointers and work with them. It just depends how far you want to go, but working with a bigger pointer as well, fantastic, absolutely beautiful. So crystals, whether it's in a room or whether it's in your pocket or whether it's around your neck, a crystal has great energy, and they're classed as one of the top, in my opinion, top 10 spiritual shamanic tools in the world. From the tools of crystals, we go to Mother Nature, and Mother Nature gives us something beautiful from feathers from birds, and feathers play a huge role in cleansing. And this was from a shaman, a lovely, beautiful shamanic crystal, 2 crystals there. This is for cleansing. So I used to use this all the time in cleansing clients, and I would use it around the body, cleanse and clear away. I might go to these. That would be after I finished a healing session, I'd go up and down, because there's something about feathers that clears negative energy. It clears heavy, dark energy. So the energy around you is beautiful. If there's like the energy that comes off you after a healing session, we call it residue. If we just lightly brush it up and down, you can actually use your hands as well, but for some reason, feathers seem to just pick it and clear it away. So I used to use like different types. I've got quite a lot of different. Got loads. This was a lot bigger at one time, but unfortunately, my little Lily got hold of it for a few minutes. But this was, again, I got this from Ibiza, and this was from a bird that had passed. Yeah, sorry about that. A bird that had passed. It was on the highway, and a shaman picked it up and did a blessing, and then took the feathers off and used it, and I used it ever since. I don't know whether you think that's bad or not, but I don't know. We all have our thoughts and feelings, but I used to work with the feather, and that's nearly. It's had its time now. But feathers used to be a massive part. I know, baby. I'm sorry about that. There's no I can do. Come on, baby. You never used to be that frightened, did you? Okay, baby. Okay. Oh, you're not that bad. My other doggy before Dennis was petrified of that noise. He'd just shake, but she's actually quite. She's her heart's okay. Okay, so the thing is, in Mias Pueblo, when there's a football match on and Barcelona or Madrid scores, the guy next door, I know him, he likes to set fireworks off, and he doesn't have a thought about animals. She's fine. You want to say hello? The beautiful girl. She's a good girl. Anyway, sorry about that. So yeah, feathers are amazing to use to cleanse and clear. And when you're sat down looking at your client, if there is yet residue, you go over and you just lightly use a feather over them, and then you would use the spray. I would use that to finish off with. That brings a lot of balance to the energy as well. Yeah, very interesting. So that's another tool that I would use. The next tool that I think's fascinating, that you already know because we used it last night, was the angel cards. And angel cards are a fantastic tool to use. The reason why is because it's gentle and it's self-explanatory. So when you gift a card to somebody, you might be out having a drink, and your doorbell, which normally rings by way of somebody saying, I don't feel too good today, or something bad's happened, you get your card. Okay, that's my opportunity to get a card out and say, well, would you like a card? It might help, might not. Do you want a card? Yes, please. So you let them choose a card and read the message. I've got to say it worked every time for me. So I wholeheartedly believe in my angel cards, not mine, any angel cards. There's no ego in me. I'll use any angel cards. They all work because Spirit knows how to bring a message to people, and it is fantastic. Maybe not every time, but when it's needed, when it's really bloody needed, oh, they get the message over. And the angel cards are easy. And you don't have to worry. You don't have to try too hard with angel cards. Like when I was reading angel cards for you last night and the night before, it was easy. I wasn't struggling. It was just more a case of trying to get it across in a nice way and reading it properly, which is a struggle for me because I struggle to read very well. But I do my best, and I'm breaking through that. I'm trying to be more confident and not allowing my teachers to tell me I'm thick, and because that's why I stop and get worried, because the worry of my teachers of what they said, that I was thick and stupid. So that always comes back when I read. So yeah, there's a lot of work still being done with me, as well as you guys probably know. You work on yourself every day. So angel cards are a brilliant tool to use. I highly recommend them. The next tool that I recommend is tarot cards. And tarot cards are a little bit more powerful. And I use the Carl Rorick deck. Carl W. Rorick is a painter, an artist, but also a very powerful channeler of modern day art, but has amazing messages in the cards. So through the messages that you become confident and share that message with, takes a little bit more energy, but ultimately it can be mind blowing when you give somebody a card reading. So again, another fantastic spiritual tool you can use, and I think that works amazing. Music through the speakers is also fantastic as well. Don't be put off. So depending on what kind of energy you want in the room, I would suggest have at least 20 pieces of music and choose the right one for how you're feeling, or how you feel your client will need it, and how you're feeling that day to what you want in the frequency of the room. So, as just a side note, if you're thinking about becoming a healer, or you want a peaceful place in your house, a nice room that you want to call your own, that you can go and meditate in, or even a corner, I would strongly recommend that whatever you put as I don't know, I don't like the word altar, but you might want to have a special place where you've got your crystals, and where you can sit and meditate. Everything that you create in that space should be out of love and nothing else. So if you receive gifts from people and you love the gift, put it there. If the gift doesn't feel right, don't put it there. So because the weakest thought is normally the one that will stop you from meditating and reaching a high frequency. So basically, everything in this room has a story and a meaning. Every picture, every objet d'art has a memory of something wonderful. Everything. So everywhere I turn is a good memory. So if you're on good energy memory, and you're on good, I don't know, just good thoughts, then there's no room for bad thoughts. But if you put something in the room that you don't like, then the chances that everything else won't mean anything if you're focused on that one thing that isn't good. So that's really, really important. Your body is a temple, and to clean your body is close to godliness. Cleanliness is close to godliness. I'm not really into God per se, but I do understand that keeping things clean gives good energy. So whether it's your tools that you keep clean, whether it's the floor that you clean, whether you polish and keep everything clean. I use vinegar to polish now. I don't use polish. I use vinegar and white vinegar, and I clean everything with white vinegar, and that's my cleaning my cleaning tip. So whenever I clean myself, I use natural products. I won't use anything from the supermarkets or from any company that sells underarm spray or any deodorant, because that is a massive cause of you know what. And I won't say it because I don't want to lose this channel. But suffice to say, everything that I use on my body is organic, 100% organic. I will not contaminate my body with any poisons, because I've seen what it does to people. So when you keep yourself nice and clean, I think there's something very, very beautiful in that. I just think it's incredible. And if you're a healer, one of the things that I share with people is that it's just an observation that I found myself doing. But to find the highest level of healing, you have to be in the highest level of emptiness. And it's the hardest thing, because most of us are always trying to fill a void all the time. And sometimes when we don't fill the void gets filled itself by the energy that we need to fill it with. So if we're always thinking about things, then there is no space for this beautiful energy to come through. Therefore, we have to be a vessel. So we need to be empty. So to be empty, we cannot be thinking about anything. So one of the things I share in the Pure Energy Healing course, and I'd like to share it tonight with you guys, it's really funny. It's a story about a table. And on that table is every single tool you can think of, spiritually speaking, from the feathers to the crystals to the oils, everything. And on the table, I would ask everybody who came here to choose what the most powerful tool was on the table. And they'd all choose one. And then I'd say, sorry, but you've got it wrong. And I would choose, I'll just show you what I choose. Because this would be on the table as well. And I'd say, this is the most powerful tool. This. And everybody would laugh. And I'd say, right, I'll explain why. There was a day that I was giving a healing session to a beautiful lady. And I was really getting deep into this healing. It was beautiful. And I was really focused. And her head was there, and I'm sat down, and I've got my eyes closed, and I could feel the burning and the healing, and I could feel she was being healed. And for some reason, I opened my eyes, okay? And when I opened my eyes, I fixated on my fingernails, and I realized that I hadn't cut them and they were dirty. And I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? And next thing, that beautiful flow had gone because of my bloody fingernails. So after that, that was a thank you, a great lesson. I cut my fingernails, and the next healing session I did after that was absolutely amazing. And that one after that was just incredible. Why? Because there was no distraction. So if you smell and you go, oh my God, I haven't washed myself, and I've been rushing around, and you're doing a healing session, you're not going to be able to heal properly, because you're going to be worried that your client thinks you smell, or you think you smell, and you do smell. And so everything that you do in life, try and counter with ways of not allowing things to fill your mind and stop you from, and that's not just about healing, that's about life. We're always distracted by things that, could have been avoided. And, so just little things like that make a huge difference, I believe. So, yeah, I think I'd like to just put it out there now. Has anybody got any questions about anything that I've talked about thus far? Because we're nearly at 1 hour. So is there anything that you would like to ask? I hope you've enjoyed it thus far. Just take a sip. Any questions about what I've been talking about tonight? That's what I meant. The feathers that you can use, turkey feathers are good ones. Turkey feathers because they're nice and long, and they work really well. The other feathers that I've got is from, I think it was a bird that died, which was, I think, a falcon. And above me here was gifted to me by Ole Damagar, and that's a golden eagle feather given to him by one of the tribes in America, because you're not allowed to take golden eagle feathers. So yeah, I don't think you can get them. So I think this is plenty enough, and they actually are beautiful. I predominantly open all the cupboards if I can. I'm talking about big cupboards. I'm not talking about little. I mean, like big cupboards, huge cupboards, right? If it's little cupboards, I don't think it's that big a deal. Like drawers and stuff, no. But yeah, big cupboards. Definitely attic, because that's where spirit runs to. Trap spirit goes, hides away at the attic, or underground. It tries to get away. So yeah, I try and do every room in the attic. So normally get some. I normally ask when I'm doing. Well, I normally ask when I'm doing a cleansing. Do you have an attic? Can I get up there? Can we get some steps up there so I can actually do the whole house? Have you got um a downstairs, a basement? Anything? No basement. Okay. So I try and do every room. I've had some people say to me, when you're cleansing, you should open all the doors and windows. No, that I tried that and it didn't work. I tried it tons of times. It never worked. So what worked for me, and I'm sharing what worked for me. So you can do what you want. I'm not telling you not to do it. You want to open all the doors and windows, that's fine, because when you're using the smoke, it just goes out of the window, actually not catching anything. But if you think about this, if it's smoke that is relevant, if it's the smoke that does the healing, then you understand that when you're looking, because I used to look at the smoke and watch, and I could see that it absolutely absorbs from anything, the walls, and it pulls out the negative energy from anything that's around. It pulls it out of the ceiling, it pulls it out of the floor. And in that 1 hour, it pulls it out. It basically cleans it. And then after 1 hour, 2 hours, you open all the doors and windows, because at that point, the smoke has done its job. That's my understanding. You can follow anybody you want, but I'm telling you this now. I never had to go back to another house that had negative entities in that house after I did the job that I did. But the prior before, I was using a stick, which the shaman told me to do, and I realized it wasn't enough, because my client had ring up and say, no, it's still here. And I'm like, okay. It was when I started thinking, well, why am I doing this? Why isn't it working? Come on, it makes sense. If you got one stick and you're using smoke, then it's the smoke that is the reason why you use it. So doesn't it make sense to use tons of smoke? It's just common sense. That's all I used. And I didn't follow what people told me. I followed what worked. So I didn't do it. If it didn't work, I didn't do it. So everything that I've done, I did because it worked. And it worked for me. And I'm not saying it's going to work for you, but it worked for me. And a lot of people have said to me, thank you. And a lot of people that I couldn't be anywhere near over the 12 years that I was working with people who had trapped spirit and entities in the house. I'd work through the computer and tell them what to do. And they'd say, oh my God, I've had like 15 or 20 different spiritual people here. I've had priests here. I've had shamans here. And nothing's worked. And I'd say, well, I this is what I do. If you want to give it a try, you can do. And they followed everything, every steps that I used, including the music, which I haven't mentioned tonight, but you can choose your own music. One of the music which is really good is Gregorian chant music, especially if you're clearing out dark, heavy, trapped demonic attachments and what have you. So that's amazing. I have that on my website, and but you can go and find it on YouTube. Mine's just coupled up with a prayer that is always being said as the music's playing, and the music is to download, and you play it 24 hours. You put it through the whole night and day. And people said, and people say it now, that whatever was in the house has gone, which just goes to show it does and did, and it always will work for me and for my clients thus far. Some people say they cleanse the house, but then when I go and see them, realize that they haven't cleansed it properly at all, or they said they've done it and they haven't done it properly at all. If you follow each of the steps that I share on my Mark Bajerski YouTube channel, second most popular video, you can't go wrong. It works as long as you cleanse every single room and make sure it's so full of smoke. Spirit trapped in between two worlds just does not like it, and whether it disappears, where it goes, does it go back home? I'm not sure. I don't know. But all I was bothered about is if your house and your child and your husband and you are happy now. And I always got a yes. I could reel off hundreds of people who were so thankful that they lived in a house and they were going to sell it because of the most awful things that were happening. And then I went in there and, 3 hours later, it was gone. So, I am confident in the work that I did, and I was fully booked for months and months and months. So people obviously must have liked it and it must have worked. So I just share with you what worked. But yeah, it's are you talking about this bell? If you're talking about that bell, this is I think it comes in two bits. It's not so much that I don't want to know. It's just that I'm not that intelligent or super intelligent. But I think this and this are two separate things. They have meanings, and the meaning of this, I believe, is the mind. I'm not sure if I've got that right, but normally it comes with another section, so it looks like that at this side, and it's something to do with the mind, and it's a Buddhist bell, so it's. But I just like I don't go with that. I go with the frequency, and I listen to it. Okay, that's gonna work. I want that. So I never followed what somebody told me to do. I listened to what everybody told me to do, but I followed what felt right more than what somebody told. That's why teachers hated me. They absolutely hated me, but good teachers loved me because they realized that I was listening to myself. I wasn't a sheep. I was following what felt right. And when people say, "Oh, Mark, I don't do that. I do this," and I'll go, "Good for you. Well done." Because you are following what feels right. Nobody else can teach you how to work better than you work. Nobody. I can show you what I do, but I encourage people as a Pure Energy Healing Academy founder as to follow your inner gifts, truth, guidance. I'm only here to give you ideas, thoughts, feelings that will stimulate you to be the best healer and individual healer that you are. So, yeah, I've tried all sorts. I literally tried thousands of different tools, and the tools that I've shared with you tonight are limited down to 12 years of working with tools. So the few tools that I use work, and a lot of people have benefited over the years from using them. So I hope you enjoy tonight. Yeah, don't put yourself down. Yeah, it's difficult when you're a kid at school and you've got every single teacher bombarding you with the worst kind of insult all the time. It's very difficult to shake that, and you have to work on it. I have to work on it all the time. It's just like if you've been abused as a child, it's very difficult to shake that off because it comes back to you. And the other thing is that I don't like and I can't stand is ego. and I don't want ego. So sometimes when I say things, it's to take my ego away or to tell my mind to shut up. And there is no ego there by saying sometimes things that kind of get me back down to earth. I don't want to ever be thought of as ego. Ego to me is, I just can't stand it, and sometimes it creeps in. Sometimes you can feel it creeping in, and yeah. When you work with the spirit world, you find that ego. I'm talking about working with spirit world. A lot of people say that they work with spirit world, but they're actually filled with ego and awfulness. So when you work with the spirit world, they make sure they keep your feet firmly on the ground. That's for sure. I watched a video the other day, and it was of a lovely black woman who was talking on a podcast, and then all of a sudden, as she's talking, a hair fell off, and to reveal that she's got no hair hardly, and this big bushy hair, and it fell down back on a podcast, and I actually, like she was saying, I put it on my Facebook page, and I watched it, and I didn't laugh at first at all. I just watched it, and I had these feelings of, oh my God, you know, the poor lady. But I was watching her, and she did so well. And she went, she couldn't even pick the wig up because it was at the back of a sofa that she couldn't get to. And she was talking to, and this black guy was laughing. He was crying with tears. And she did so well. And she went down and she picked it up, and she said, "You're not going to put this out, are you?" And he said, "Yeah, I am." And she went, "Oh, Jesus." And she puts it on her head like that. And and then she said something like, "Lord Jesus, please help me when he uploads this video." And when it had finished, I thought, what an amazing woman. I kind of fell in love with her in the sense of, I think we all like to see the truth in us. And when things happen like that, and she held herself so well, and you could see that she was devastated, but she rose above that, and it was great. I thought she was great, and I don't know who she is, but I thought this is how I want to be always, you know, and. So I don't mind when things go wrong, or I slip up, or I say things wrong, because there is no ego. And that's what. So actually, I put that video up because I thought that's a woman knowing, free of ego, and not allowing herself to be so big that would have been a disaster, and her life's ended. I just thought it was beautiful. And I think people might have taken it the wrong way because I posted it. It wasn't to insult her at all. It was to show how amazing we are when we're put into a position like that, because most people are not good at it, at handling situations like that. So there you go. I am wishing you all an absolutely lovely evening. I hope you've learned something tonight a little bit. You might have already heard most of this before. If you're pure energy healers, you know most of this. But it might have jogged a little bit of a memory. It might have inspired you a little bit. It might have given you valuable information that makes you move forward in your own direction. It might have given you, inspiration and great creative juices to do something for yourself and do something different. I encourage people to make their own oils. I encourage people to find something that fits with them and, not with me. Do you remember when I made all them videos, and I've always got my things here, hanging off here, and normally I have tags at the back that they're hanging out, and but I actually like that. I don't care how I look, because I think the message is far more important. And when I speak to you not out of ego, not out of look at me or buy things from me. It's truly out of wanting to share what I've learned, because it's been valuable in my life and it's been valuable in my clients' lives. So why wouldn't I share the information that I've learned from a few tools tonight? It just makes so much sense to me, and I couldn't wish to be anywhere else but here tonight with you. You know, if I had a choice of being anywhere in the world, Bali, anywhere, tonight I wanted to be with you. So it's out of love, not out of necessity, not out of I have to. I do it because I wanna. So and that's who I am. And long may it last. So I'm wishing you all a lovely evening from myself and beautiful Lily, who's been an absolute blessing tonight. She's been great. So we're going to head off home, and we're going to have an early night tonight. And I wish you all a lovely Sunday. And just as a reminder, don't forget to listen to some beautiful music with some really interesting stories attached to the music. And that is the Richie Allen Sunday morning radio show, which is Sunday Morning Melodies with Richie Allen. It's really good. It really is. It brightens my Sunday up, and I hope it does you too. Wishing you a lovely night. Thank you, Peter, for being here, and everybody. Love you all to bits. Take care of yourself. And I did change my room a little bit, and I don't know. Do I like it? I don't know. It's okay. Somebody said it was a few people said it was a bit too much. There's too much going on. But I don't know. It might change again. But a change is good as a rest. Night, night, everybody. Take care. Love you all. Sleep well. Bye bye.